Hey everyone, Spicy Toast Gaming here. Hope you're having a great day, and I hope this video can make it a little bit better. Today we have a very special interview with senior game designer Brian Kopleck, and we're going over all the information that was revealed in the recent dev snapshot video. Link to that down below. Thank you to Brian, everyone over at Riot for this opportunity, and let's get into it. Welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this interview. Today I'm joined by senior designer Brian Kopleck.
Hello.
And let's just jump straight into the questions. So to start off, great dev snapshot. So many features that the community's been asking for a very long time, such as like battle passes returning, animation speed, which is crazy, and the return of not only increasing legend levels, but also champion levels. Now, you probably can't give us any set date on when these are going to come out, but any estimates on when we should expect these features?
Yeah, so event passes, the first one will be debuting with this patch. Hopefully, depending on when this video is coming out at this exact moment, that'd be great. And then many of them are coming next patch. So next patch will have a new adventure, a brand new to lore champion, and those extended legend levels and champion levels. Animation speed was almost coming this patch, but at the last moment, like, there were some bugs that were a little too egregious. Oh no, my dog's barking. There were some bugs that were a little too egregious, and so we had to pull it back and just like try to make sure to button those up. And you'll have to excuse the lack of dates in the video itself, because it was recorded more than a month ago, and like we got to manage expectations. We can end up inflicting a lot of pain on ourselves if we like promise something and then things start to go wrong, like the animation speed up stuff. So
very understandable. Look forward to that. A lot of it coming sooner than I would have guessed. Moving on, then let's talk about the weekly nightmares. So these have been out for a little bit of time now. What lessons has the team learned from all the feedback you've been getting?
Yeah, definitely been getting a lot of feedback. Really appreciate like people chiming in, giving us their thoughts. The biggest lesson we've learned is just kind of like how different our audiences are, and kind of like which is really great, because as soon as we can start to chunk those out into like different player types, we can start to check their motivations and serve those specifically. So there is an audience that is very well served by this, the kind of player who like loves deck building roguelike specifically. They are used to failure, they want the challenge, they are trying to find the best build and, you know, maximize their skill expression, and they're loving this. And then there are a lot of folks who are used to more of like a hero collector. This is their game to kind of relax to, and don't want like the nightmares are not a relaxed experience, you know, by nature. And so they want a way to still progress their champs while kind of just like being in their flow state. So we'll leave nightmares kind of where they are. There may be a tad too hard. I don't want people to get their hopes up like 5% too hard. But we also want to like make sure we are looking into features and experiences for this like other set of players out there.
Yeah, that sounds great. Like, yeah, I know I really like the weekly nightmares, but there definitely is a couple different communities of players where some people don't like the tougher challenges, and then some of us really, really do. For the weekly nightmares, is this a feature you plan on continuing to update with like maybe new powers getting added, new bosses, anything like that?
Yeah, and that's actually really easy to do. Every time we create a new adventure, we can take those encounters and kind of put them in the nightmare list. So yeah.
Awesome. So it'll just keep getting bigger and bigger. That sounds great.
Yep.
Moving on to then the new adventure you guys talked about. So is this going to be like a brand new adventure, or is it going to be a bit of a remix such as like Swain?
No, it is a brand new adventure. So every encounter was handmade for it. We also had the help of our central narrative team to kind of give it some flavor. So yeah, this should be all things you have never seen before. Hopefully I don't regret that. Hopefully there's not a single encounter in there that's not new, but yeah, I believe it is all new.
Awesome. And then for this adventure, you said there's going to be two different difficulties kind of for those different player bases, one that's a bit more approachable, and then one for those more end game players. What can we expect as far as the star levels for those two different difficulties?
Yeah, so the The adventure will release with a 3.5 star difficulty, and then there will be a hard version that is 6.5 stars. And the 3.5 star version will have a lot of rewards. It's something we kind of expect you to play multiple times, so it should give you like a good amount of progression. And then the hard version, kind of similar to the hard adventures we've been doing recently, will only ask you to play them 5 or fewer times, and kind of have like less immediately compelling rewards. Stuff you're still like happy to have, but like not like critical for progress.
Okay, I think currently for reference, the only other 3.5 I think is Galio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just for anyone wondering what adventure to maybe compare it in difficulty, I think Galio was the one 3.5 in the game. So will the hard version of this also have the deadly modifier that we've seen in the weekly nightmares, as well as the Swain adventure?
Yeah, it's gonna have deadly, and I've seen a lot of chatter about deadly, so I feel like this is probably a good time to address it. What deadly does is means that we don't have to go through every encounter and add stickers to every single card. Deadly kind of brings the cards up to nightmare parity by giving them increased stats and having them deal more damage. So if Deadly wasn't there, we would just have to be doing a lot of manual labor to hit the same like difficulty level. Yeah, and if we didn't do that, then the powers themselves would have to be just absolutely dastardly, like total hater powers, destroy every strategy kind of stuff. So this, by making the cards more powerful, we can make the powers at least like somewhat palatable. I know some of them are pretty nasty, but you guys got it. You figure it out.
Also, for anyone that is wondering, whenever a rioter says stickers, they mean items.
Oh God, I do that every time.
Yeah. You also mentioned a path exclusive champion, so a champion that doesn't have to be balanced for PvP. Since you don't have to balance them in that regard, how has that really changed the team's design approach when making this champion?
Yes, and I have to be very careful to navigate here so publishing doesn't kill me. No hints. So yeah, the most obvious design space that we get is we can start directly referencing path mechanics. So items, not stickers, gold rerolls. So you could have a champion that grants you a reroll every time you win a match with full health, or one that grants you items to your deck based on how much gold you've spent. Stuff like that could be printed on the card itself. We could already do this with powers, so it's not as novel. But the other thing we get is there are actually several play patterns that we avoided when the game was PvP focused, because while they felt good to play, they felt horrible to play against. It felt so bad that like at the end of a game, it was a net negative experience. The person who played against it felt worse than the winner felt better. So like discarding cards from the enemy hand or deck, mechanics with like stupid high randomness, just like total swingy, like you either get +20 +20 or +1 +1, right? Or consumptive designs. So those are things like where you get power based on what your opponent is like doing. So if they're playing units and then you're like, I slay that unit and that makes my board more powerful, the correct move for your opponent is not to play the game. Yeah. And so those are spaces that are like, they just kind of feel bad. But in Path, you can bully the AI all you want and it'll never get sad until it achieves a singularity. But we'll have bigger problems then.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of a lot of Ionia champions where they're so annoying to play against, but some of them seem like they'd be super fun. And then there's also like Morgana, where you just make the AI not be able to play the game at all, which can be fun for us as players, but yeah, it'd be so annoying to go against if she had the same level of power in PvP.
I mean, I was honestly worried about us shipping curses in PvP. I was like, ooh, this feels a little bad, but yeah. No, yeah.
So with this champion that we can't get any hints about, will it be based on any existing keywords or playstyles, or you're just trying to do something completely brand new?
It's hard to call it brand new, but we are definitely diving into the new design space that we have. So it's something familiar, but used differently. Yeah, I think that's about all I can say with that. publishing murdering me.
Let's move on then and talk about the battle passes, which I'm very excited for their return. First up, though, you guys said that it was going to be back-to-back battle passes. And just to be clear, when you guys say that, do you mean like immediately as one ends, another one is going to start up? Or is there going to be a little bit of a delay there?
There will be a very minor delay. It's like a day or two, basically. The event pass will end the day before patch release, usually. So about 48-ish hours, 24, 48. So very small gap.
Okay, great. And then, even though it's a bit of a stretch, will these battle passes potentially have a like Nova Crystal at the end, or maybe enough fragments or shards to put a Nova Crystal together?
Yeah, they'll have Nova Crystal progress. You will get Nova shards from a Gold Star vessel. It's not going to have a whole Nova Crystal on it. And we want to... oh, God, I'm losing my words here. But I understand right now that like partial progress feels a bit aimless. And that is something that the team is working on like very hard to make sure that even getting like some amount of shards still feels good because it works into your plan somehow. So we're kind of missing that latter piece, but it is something that the team is aiming to get out with a feature before the end of the year. Okay,
sounds good. I guess that's the potential target farming you guys have like hinted at in the past.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
It's always funny when people ask me about that. I was like, they've mentioned this. I have no details whatsoever on what it's going to be, but who knows?
Yeah.
So you talked about making the passes easier to complete because about 60% of the people that got the passes weren't completing them. So how do you plan on making those easier, like shortening event passes, adding more quests? What's the plan?
Oh, so real quick, it was 60% were completing them.
Okay.
So
okay.
40% weren't. So the passes will be shorter. There will only be 50 nodes. And then the quest structure, there are technically fewer quests, but they're structured in a way where the first week has like a lot of quests. And then as each week goes on, it kind of reduces the number of quests slightly, but it maintains or increases the number of battle pass tokens that you get. So it should be fairly easy to catch up if you like missed the first week, for example. And also this is kind of, this is our first stab at this. If we kind of see the same completion rate issues, like we're happy to go back to the drawing board and like figure out more.
Let's move on then and talk about the animation speed increase, which I'm very surprised you guys are trying to get out this year. I thought it was going to take longer. I'm sure there is a lot of difficulties. So what were some of the hurdles that the team had to overcome in order to make this possible?
Yes, I should have chatted with our engineer who's like deep in those mines right now. But I do know the bugs that I experienced while testing it, because we have it on internally right now. Very strange things that like, for some reason, the last breath icon does not show up when we 2x the speed. And then probably the reason, that's one reason that we couldn't do it. And then the other one is, how the attack token sits on a little pedestal, and that pedestal kind of like pops like a coin over and over. For some reason with the animation increase, that little pedestal gets stuck midway through and it covers the OK button and like your mana amount, which is just like, why? So yeah, I think we say in the video, the game was never meant to go at this speed. So we are kind of like uncovering some very bizarre issues that it's causing. Not things that we can't fix, luckily, but yeah, it's just going to take slightly more time.
Well, that will be, very awesome to get in the game. I know that's been one of the most requested features since like almost day one has been the animation increase for Path of Champions.
Yeah, it's like, like I'm saying, we're testing internally, which has been like great, but it is sometimes hard for me to go back to my live account because I'm like, oh, we got to ship this soon. I miss going fast. It's good.
Yeah, I had that same issue. I played one game that had a speed increase, and yeah, as soon as you play at a faster speed, it just looks so slow going back. It's the worst.
It's agony. Yeah.
Let's then finish up talking about the legend and champion levels. So will the new legend levels continue to have the same XP requirement per level? So previously when you guys increased it, I think it was like 30 XP every single level. It didn't get more, so it didn't make it harder to get more legend levels?
30x
30k. 30k.
30k. Okay, gotcha.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. But no, these levels will take longer to complete.
Okay.
We got to make sure that like this, we don't immediately run out of the runway that we've created again. But we are planning on having new adventures that we add grant higher amounts of legend level, so it should compensate for this increase somewhat.
Okay, how many new legend levels are we getting? Like, what's the new max then?
New max will be 80.
Okay, so 30 more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's 50 now. And then as far as the rewards, are these going to be kind of the same that we had last time, which was like gold vaults, platinum vaults, and golden reliquaries, or is it going to be new stuff?
There's new stuff on there. So there's one gold star vessel of each region. There are a handful of of diamond vaults. And then I think there are still some plats and stuff on there.
Okay, nice. Let's talk about the increase to champion levels then. Can you say what's the new cap for champion levels?
The new cap is going to be 50.
Okay, so yeah, that's 20 new levels. Yeah, that is quite a lot, because I figured it would just be 10 at 40, but yeah, 50 is going to be quite a lot of XP. I guess that's good, because I have a huge stockpile of XP relics lying around.
Yep.
For these increase in levels, what type of upgrades can we expect to get with those?
Yeah, so these levels grant extra Nexus health, starting gold, regen. There's one reroll on there, and then a lot of increasing the chances of higher rarity powers and items. So because these levels, they're going to take longer to earn than 1 through 30, like kind of like the legend level thing, we want to make sure that it takes a good investment before, like you can hit cap on one champion pretty easy, but if you're trying to hit cap on every single champion, like that should take a while. And so we wanted to make sure that the upgrades after 30 didn't feel critical, but they are still like useful power for your champion. Like you're not going to say no to 10 extra Nexus health. So
the grind is going to continue. I remember when I first became a content creator, I was like, okay, I need to max out my account. And this was before XP Relic, so I just sat down and just grinded all day to complete everything.
Oh, no.
So one thing that we normally get with upgrades to our levels used to be increasing our relic slots. Is that something we could maybe see in the future then?
Increasing relic slots. It is not something that's currently on our radar. There is a lot of power tied up in relics right now, and we might have to make a whole difficulty tier if we add even one more. So not now. Interesting to hear that's what you desire.
Well, it's just would dramatically increase build crafting, because there's so many people that's like, man, if I just had one more, I could just make this crazy build by just missing like one slot. So yeah, that would be interesting. I think the increase in champion levels, though, is going to be great, because it just gives you a further way to increase the power of your champion with just playing the game, not having to use any in-game resources or anything. So that'll be very, very nice.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so that is about it for the questions, but I wanted to open up the floor to you if you wanted to say anything to the overall community.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said this at the last one too, but like, I love y'all. I'm so happy and proud to keep making this game for everybody. This year has kind of been wild for lore. It both feels like it's been 3 years, and also I look back and I'm like, wait, we only shipped Constellations like 4 months ago. Yeah. And have just like really increased the amount of stuff that we're able to make for you month after month. And also I know the future, and there's so much cool stuff coming next year. Yeah, just really excited to be on this journey with y'all.
Well, thank you to you and the team, not only for the opportunity for the interview, but the game has been doing so well every single patch. I am very impressed. You guys have really been making this a fantastic game. So kudos to you and the rest of the team. You're all knocking it out of the park, at least in my opinion.
Oh. Thank you so much. I will pass your compliments on to the other chefs.
All right, thank you all for joining us for this interview. Really excited for the future of Path of Champions, and I hope you all have a great day.